Welcome to the Inspired Riding Podcast. I'm your host, Beth Lauren Parrish. As a certified riding instructor, remote coach, and rapid transformational therapy practitioner, a powerful form of hypnotherapy, I'm here to remind you to slow down, trust your intuition, and really deeply listen to your horse. And this will make for the best co-creative dances possible, whether you're on the ground or connecting on their backs. Thank you so much for being here, and here we go. Hello there, Inspired Riders. This podcast is called The Equestrian Athletic Mindset is for All Riders. When I was a young rider, taking 1 to 2 lessons per week, I was blessed to not only be naturally fit, I was also incredibly active. I walked to school often, up and down sizable hills, over 5 miles a day. I was also the only girl on my golf team, and we were required to carry our clubs, which we did about 3 times per week. Fast forward 30 years now, and 5 surgeries later, my body has had its share of trauma and a ton of rehabilitation. After breaking my tailbone, forearm, femur, and tearing the ligaments in my knee, I had to learn how to find a new way to become active and find my way back to fitness. It wasn't until the beginning of 2023 when I finally allowed myself to identify as an athlete again, and I signed up for 𝙝𝙤𝙧𝙨𝙚 Equestrian Fitness Academy. Before that, I was really hesitant to believe that I could do a lot of things that I once did naturally. I was scared that I wouldn't be able to run again. Not because I loved running, I honestly don't, but the occasional sprint with my dogs, an excited run with my pony, is something that would just bubble up naturally. And it really is fun when those sudden bursts of energy arise. While I was rehabbing my back-to-back surgeries on my knee and my femur, I was giving myself permission, in a sense, to not even think of myself as an athlete any longer. It was my way of creating an excuse to not even try to push myself a little bit more each time. Because pushing myself wasn't easy, and it was actually painful at times, both physically and mentally. It was often so frustrating to feel like a lame pony most of the time. I had a pretty significant limp going on with metal implants, and I was stuck in the belief that I would never be able to feel like a true athlete. But what is a true athlete? To me, it's someone who continues to strive for her best fitness possible in whatever sport of her choice. That's my definition anyhow. And the way I look at it, we owe it to ourselves to strive to identify as an athlete, not only for our own health and longevity, but to become the best dance partners for our horses. Here's what I did to make this shift happen from within. I hope this inspires you on some level. I started with the mental aspect first. As our minds learn by repetition, and they will always listen carefully to what we instruct, I began programming my mind every night before sleep. I would say to myself, I will wake up refreshed, energized, and pain-free. That last one was especially important, as my injuries created a lot of pain that most people wouldn't know about unless I said something, or they could actually see me walking and see that limp. Next, I focused on walking just a little bit faster each time on the treadmill. I challenged myself to get up to the speed walking I used to do. It reminded me of the days I would take the train from Long Island to Manhattan to go visit my brother or sister. As soon as I got out of the train at Penn Station, I would walk so fast that I would be a blur to anyone who would be a potential threat on the walk. That was my theory anyway. I was like Little Red Riding Hood of the city, and no wolves could catch me. I called it my intense New York City walk. So there I was again, using my wild imagination on my treadmill, overlooking our woods in Georgia, to push myself a little bit each time. The pain finally started to subside, and I could do more and more each day. I finally got to a point where I could add little sprints, and that's when I knew I had blown past the belief that I couldn't run again. It might not have been pretty right away, but I was creating a gorgeous momentum for myself. All it came down to was taking action, deciding to go for it one stride at a time, getting up off the couch, putting on my running shoes, and getting on that treadmill. Audible books were also super intriguing to me and helped keep me motivated as I challenged my body and my mind to stay focused. I especially loved Mel Robbins' 5-second rule and her most recent one, High Five Habit. I highly recommend you check them out. So once I started believing that I could indeed do my little runs again, I realized that I was also holding myself back from moving more in other ways. Because my femur break happened when I was rushing around the house and didn't see the dog bone on that slick tile floor, I actually slowed everything down for a long time, being afraid to get hurt again. I had to finally encourage myself to be mindful while moving a little quicker, telling myself that it was indeed safe to move more and challenge myself to do simple things like jumping jacks and standing X crunches. Those X crunches were an exercise I learned from Aoife, and while they aren't easy, the more I do them, the more my body feels ready for anything. I'll often do those right before I'm about to ride. So when I signed up for Aoife's program, he actually did an incredibly thorough assessment of what I was capable of doing before he designed the program for me. I was so impressed with the progression and creativity of the exercises, as well as his genuine care for me, while challenging myself to do even more. I felt so confident in my body that I actually started riding my pony bareback more often. I even ventured into the bridleless world a few times. Since my trust in my body increased, he was able to trust me even more. I could sense how he immediately felt ready for anything, as my body felt better than it ever had. The true test came for me when he had a tiny spook and my body felt like a fantastic piece of linguine that went with the movement with ease and didn't even spike my adrenaline. That's when my eyebrows raised and I said to myself, being this fit feels amazing. So what will it take for you to begin cross-training and feeling like you identify as an athlete? And remember my definition. It's all about someone who strives to improve their fitness in the best ways possible. It has nothing to do with body size or type. And I would add, if you have a body, you too can identify as an athlete. Your horse believes in you, and so do I. Believe that you can improve one stride at a time. You've got this. Thank you so much for listening to this short podcast. I really hope you enjoyed it. Remember to lead with kindness for yourself and for your horse. And may the horse be with you always.